Deep within the castle vaults, shrouded in whispers and dread, lay the Blackened Mirror. A relic of forgotten magic, it was said to grant the viewer glimpses of hidden truths, the darkest secrets of the human heart. But such knowledge, whispered the legends, came at a terrible price. The mirror's reflection was a venomous serpent, its bite a slow and agonizing descent into madness. Generations of monarchs had sealed it away, fearing its power, yet strangely drawn to its allure. Centuries passed, the kingdom prospered, and the legend of the Blackened Mirror faded into a mere fireside tale. Then a shadow fell upon the land. The old king died suddenly, leaving his only daughter, Ilara, to inherit the throne. Young and untested, Ilara felt the weight of the crown heavy on her brow. Enemies, both foreign and domestic, circled like vultures, sensing weakness. Desperate to secure her reign, Ilara remembered the whispered legend of the Blackened Mirror. Ilara's coronation was a sombre affair, a stark contrast to the vibrant celebrations that usually marked such an occasion. The weight of her father's death hung heavy in the air, casting a pall over the usually joyous celebration. The kingdom mourned, and the air was thick with sorrow and uncertainty. Yet the young queen bore herself with unexpected grace and determination. Her every step, every gesture spoke of a strength that belied her years. Her youth, once seen as a vulnerability, now shone with a fierce resolve. She was determined to honor her father's legacy and lead her people with wisdom and courage. As the day darkened and the festivities drew to a close, Ilara received a most peculiar gift. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the castle grounds. A lone figure, cloaked and hooded, appeared from the shadows, bearing a large, ornately framed mirror draped in black velvet. The figure moved with an eerie grace, as if gliding rather than walking. The courtiers gasped, recognizing the dreaded symbol hidden beneath the fabric. Whispers of fear and curiosity rippled through the crowd.
My heart pounded as I felt an unsettling mix of fear and fascination. The air seemed to crackle with a strange energy, and I could not tear my eyes away from the shrouded object.
She dismissed the stranger with a nod, her gaze lingering on the shrouded object. The room fell silent, all eyes on the mysterious gift. That night, alone in her chambers, Ilara could resist no longer. The curiosity gnawed at her, and the silence of the night only amplified her thoughts. With trembling hands, she unveiled the Blackened Mirror. The velvet fell away, revealing the dark, swirling surface beneath. Its surface was not glass, but a swirling vortex of obsidian darkness, as if a piece of the night sky had been trapped within the frame. Stars seemed to twinkle within the depths, drawing her in. As Ilara gazed into its depths, she felt a cold shiver run down her spine. The mirror seemed to whisper secrets, beckoning her to uncover its mysteries. She knew in that moment that her life would never be the same. At first the mirror showed nothing but Ilara's own reflection, her youthful face etched with anxiety. But as she stared deeper, she began to notice subtle changes, flickering images, fleeting thoughts, whispers of discontent from behind smiling, courtly facades. The mirror was revealing the truth behind the masks, the hidden agendas and simmering resentments that lurked beneath the veneer of courtly life. Empowered by this newfound knowledge, Ilara began to use the mirror to her advantage. She exposed plots against her, identified her enemies, and consolidated her power.
No whisper of treachery will escape my notice. No shadow of deceit will go unseen.
Her reign, once precarious, became one of iron control. The court, once a viper's nest of intrigue, fell silent under her watchful gaze. Yet the Blackened Mirror's influence was insidious, its poison seeping into the very fabric of the court. What began as a tool for security quickly morphed into an instrument of paranoia. As the days bled into weeks, A palpable change swept over the castle. The once vibrant and lively atmosphere began to shift, as if a dark cloud had settled over the ancient stone walls. The once vibrant tapestry of courtly life became muted, the air thick with suspicion and fear. The laughter that once echoed through the grand halls was replaced by an uneasy silence, and the joyous celebrations became rare and subdued. Gone were the light-hearted banter and playful intrigues. The courtiers, who once engaged in spirited conversations and friendly rivalries, now spoke in hushed tones, if they spoke at all. In their place grew a chilling silence, broken only by hushed whispers and furtive glances. The once bustling corridors now felt like a labyrinth of secrets where every shadow seemed to hide a potential threat.
No one dared speak their mind, for fear that their words, however innocent, might be twisted by the Queen and the all-seeing mirror. The courtiers lived in constant fear of being misunderstood or misinterpreted, knowing that even the slightest misstep could lead to dire consequences. Friendship curdled into mistrust, loyalty into self-preservation. Bonds that had been forged over years of shared experiences and mutual respect began to unravel, as everyone looked out for their own survival.
The courtiers, once eager to please their young queen, now moved like phantoms, their faces carefully blank, their true emotions hidden behind a veil of apprehension. They navigated the treacherous waters of court life with caution, always wary of who might be watching or listening. The very bonds that held the court together began to fray under the strain of constant suspicion. The once cohesive and united court now seemed fragmented, with alliances shifting and trust eroding. Ilara, too, felt the change. The weight of the crown and the responsibilities that came with it seemed heavier than ever as she struggled to maintain control over a court that was slipping into chaos. The once warm halls of the castle now felt cold and oppressive. The familiar surroundings that had once brought her comfort now seemed alien and unwelcoming, as if the very stones of the castle were conspiring against her. The faces that surrounded her, once familiar and comforting, now seemed like masks, hiding thoughts and intentions she could not decipher. Ilara found herself increasingly isolated, unsure of who she could trust in a world where everyone seemed to have their own hidden agenda. The Blackened Mirror, once a source of security, had become Ilara's prison. It was a relic of ancient magic, a gift from a long-forgotten sorcerer meant to protect the kingdom by revealing hidden truths. But now it only showed her the darkest corners of her mind. Haunted by its revelations, she found herself unable to trust even her closest advisors. Every glance, every whisper seemed to carry a hidden threat. The once loyal faces now appeared as masks, concealing treachery and deceit. Sleep offered no escape, for her dreams were plagued by the distorted faces and whispered accusations she had witnessed in the mirror's depths. Night after night, she was tormented by visions of betrayal, her mind unable to find peace. The line between truth and the mirror's twisted reflections blurred, leaving Ilara lost in a labyrinth of paranoia. She wandered through the castle's dark corridors, her mind a maze of fear and suspicion, unable to distinguish friend from foe.
Was I truly surrounded by enemies, or had the mirror warped my perception, turning shadows into monsters and whispers into threats? The question gnawed at her, eroding her sanity with each passing day.
The weight of the crown, once a symbol of power, now felt like an iron band constricting her skull. It was a constant reminder of the responsibilities and dangers that came with her position, a burden she could no longer bear. The isolation of the throne, once a necessary burden, now threatened to consume her. The grand hall, once filled with loyal subjects and trusted advisors, now echoed with the silence of abandonment. Ilara yearned for connection, for genuine laughter and unguarded conversation. She longed for the days when she could trust those around her, when her court was a place of joy and camaraderie. But the fear she had sown had taken root, choking the life out of her court and leaving her utterly alone. The once vibrant gardens now withered, a reflection of the desolation within her heart. The realization struck her with the force of a lightning bolt. The blackened mirror, in its quest to reveal the truth, had created a kingdom of lies. It had shown her the darkness within, but in doing so it had also cast a shadow over her entire realm, turning trust into suspicion and love into fear.